A myriad of adjustments made to COVID-19 protocols, COVID cases continue to decline, and a recall happening for a popular baby formula brand. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tyler Simonette with your JCN News for this February 21st. New COVID-19 rules see some easing of restrictions, particularly on social gatherings, weddings, and funerals. The Ministry of Health and Wellness releasing these new rules on Sunday, implemented effective immediately.
Well, you know, we've been watching the numbers, and over the last couple of weeks we have predicted the trend, and we're seeing the numbers going down. But what is even more important is our hospital cases. The two together makes the determination where the EOC would move, and on Saturday we loosened some of the rules as it relates to restaurants, funerals and weddings, and even the issue of testing traveling back into the country. And so we're pleased that we're at that point. We're noticing that the trends are continuing, and as they continue, you will see more coming from the Ministry of Health to get us back to a degree of normalcy.
Churches or places of religious instruction, including the islands listed in the second schedule, New Providence and Grand Bahama, may conduct services, including a wedding or funeral, in accordance with health protocols, provided that attendance is limited to 50% of the occupancy. Funeral services may now be conducted in the church or place of religious activity with the casket or urn present. For now, social gatherings may be held outdoors with no more than 100 people, and 40 people may attend indoor events at a private residence. However, the public is reminded that large gatherings remain prohibited at this time. As for restaurants, they may operate at a maximum seating capacity of 75% indoors. Attendees at all gatherings and restaurants are still required to be either fully vaccinated or have a valid negative COVID-19 test result. Indoor group exercise is permitted, provided that the group is limited to 30 people. As for travel requirements, anyone entering the Bahamas or traveling inter-island from Grand Bahama and New Providence is required to undergo a rapid antigen test on the 5th day after arrival and submit the results to the Ministry of Health and Wellness via its travel health website, travel.gov.bs. Anyone who is out at sea on the second day of his stay is required to undergo a rapid antigen test at the first port of call thereafter and submit the results to the Ministry of Health Travel Health website. Where the rapid antigen test indicates a positive result, that person is required to undergo a RT-PCR test and submit to mandatory isolation in accordance with the rules. Asked how health officials intend to police these measures, the minister says this.
Well, what it is coming into the country, the Ministry of Immigration and other digital platforms are able to determine those individuals who have arrived. Notices will be given so that those individuals will be reminded of the need to have the test done. And once the test is done, we are putting in place additional parameters in order to capture, if not 90%, the entire amount of individuals who travel back into the country. But to say that, we're noticing the trends, and there are some additional amendments that will come to the rules that will be able to give even more freedom and abilities for Bahamians to travel back into the country.
As health and wellness officials have announced adjustments to the COVID-19 health protocols effective as of Sunday, February 20th, our Laurencia Smith sat down with Bahamas Christian Council President. With more, we go to our Laurencia Smith.
Churches, restaurants, and social gatherings, group exercise, and travel requirements all have adjustments to their respective COVID-19 health protocols. And with these new changes, particularly for the church and the way they operate in this COVID environment, Bahamas Christian Council President Bishop Dalton Fernandez says the church is grateful to the state for making the necessary adjustments to these guidelines. In a sit-down interview with JCN News, Bishop Fernandez adds that there can be additional changes in the coming weeks for the already existing protocols that now allow religious organizations to have gatherings at 50% occupancy.
We self-imposed at 25%. When we saw the numbers moving in the right direction, we would have petitioned the state to move the numbers up, and we thank them for moving the numbers up, and we anticipate by the middle part of March of moving the numbers up even more.
The BCC president was asked if the church felt slighted that restaurants had a higher occupancy rate at 75% of seating capacity, with churches only at 50%. Bishop Fernandez says restaurants are different from churches, and he sees no issue, and here's why.
Like I said, the second week in next month, we're looking to move up to that 75, and then if we continue going, we'll go into 100% capacity. It is proven to work. Restaurants are different from churches in that they take off their mask, so I see no problem in 2 weeks us being at the 75%. In fact, you will see that rolling out shortly for churches. Will be at a different capacity in short order.
Now, Mistress Jennifer Stubbs, the proprietor of the Kung Pearl, a stall here on the historic Arawaki, shares how beneficial these adjustments will be to vendors.
March will make 2 years since health officials recorded its first positive COVID-19 case here in the Bahamas. Mistress Stubbs stressed this about the so-called new normal.
It's going to make a huge difference. I don't really have a dining area, an indoor dining area, so it's not been as hard on me as a lot of the other vendors out here on Fish Fry. Being able to utilize that space indoors now is going to be really, really good for them.
Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville says it is noted that as the situation improves, the public can expect more revisions to be removed or relaxed restrictions. However, the public is reminded that the relaxation of certain restrictions could be tightened if the picture of the pandemic worsens to reduce the further spread of COVID-19 and prevent the risk of injury to the economy. The ministry encourages Bahamians who may not have been yet vaccinated or received their booster shots to make an appointment today to protect themselves against the possibility of becoming infected or hospitalized with any new COVID-19 variants or spikes. I'm Laurencia Smith for JCN News.
Meantime, COVID-19 cases continue to decline in country. Just 11 cases were confirmed for Saturday, February 19th, 5 new cases on New Providence, 4 on Exuma, and 2 cases on Grand Bahama. Active cases in country now at 5,044, 42 of them in hospital, 3 fighting the virus in intensive care. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reports 2 deaths, which were previously under investigation, that have now been reclassified as COVID-19 related deaths, including 2 residents of Grand Bahama, an 80-year-old female who died on February 7th, and a 66-year-old male who died on February 14th. These deaths pushed the death toll to 770. 43 deaths are still under investigation, and 68 people recovered from the virus on Saturday. It's highly unlikely that Jamaican dancehall artist Shenseea will be performing live in concert next month. This according to Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville, who says health officials were not made aware of this particular event. These comments follow a flyer making its rounds on social media featuring a photo of the Jamaican superstar. According to the flyer, the concert was set to take place on March 19th.
We have made some adjustments to our rules. We believe the adjustments that we made are fair. It helps to open up the economy. As we begin to monitor the pandemic, we'll make determination whether we will relax even further rules. But as it stands right now, events of this proportion is not allowed under our rules. And this particular event, we are unaware of it. And we encourage every Bahamian who are planning an event to avoid embarrassment and avoid incurring additional expenses, to notify the Ministry of Health to see if you can get approval.
This is the second event of this magnitude to be shut down by the ministry, the first featuring Jamaican dancehall artist Dexter Daps. Both events were slated to take place on the carnival grounds across from the National Stadium. Parents beware. The Bahamas Local Food Safety Agency is urging consumers to look out for infant formulas sold by Similac due to possible contamination by bacteria. Abbott Laboratories said last week Thursday it was recalling powdered baby formulas, including Similac, made at a Michigan facility after 4 consumers complained about bacterial infections in infants who consume the products. Our news team spoke to Dr. Patricia Johnson, Director of Food Safety and Quality at the Bahamas Agricultural Health and Safety Authority, and she spoke to what consumers in the Bahamas should do.
Out of an abundance of caution, I would advise the consumers to check the product code and go to the website, which is recommended by the FDA. I think it's Similac. I can't remember the exact email at the moment, but on the website, if you just Google recall of powdered baby formula, that article will have a site that you can go to put in the product code, and it will automatically, if it's one of the implicated foods, it'll automatically pop up. Okay. They also share some information that would be on the product if it's one of the implicated products.
The affected formulas have a number starting with 22 through 37, contain K8, SH, or Z2, and have an expiration date of April 1st, 2022 or later. Now, Dr. Johnson is not recommending that all consumers who have the Similac brand to throw it away, but to visit similarrecall.com and enter the product code at the bottom of the container to see if it's in the affected batch.
So just to double check, you can put that code into the system and check it online to see if it's one of the recalls or products. Now, not all of their products, like you say, not all of them have been implicated.
If you find that you do have the affected batch of baby formula, Dr. Johnson highly recommends throwing it away or returning it to the store for a refund and seeking medical attention for your infant if he or she has consumed any of the formula. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.